Okay, so today we are going to talk about a next key knowledge point, which is the characteristics of operations management within both manufacturing and service businesses. Okay, so we discussed a little bit about manufacturing and service businesses in our last lesson. We are going to discuss them in a little bit more detail in this key knowledge point. So okay, so manufacturing versus service business. Okay, so these are the definitions and some differences as well between these services. So what does a manufacturing business include and what does a service business include? Okay, now if I'm looking at the manufacturing business, it actually transforms inputs into tangible outputs. Okay, so tangible outputs means the products that can be touched, you can feel them. Okay, so when manufacturing business is doing the operations process, it's still doing input processes and then output, but the output is a tangible product which you can physically touch. Okay, so grocery shops, EJB Hi-Fi, clothes, shoes, electronics, okay, anything that you can feel and touch, these are your tangible products. Okay, again, manufacturing business produces the products that can be stored. Okay, so maybe on shelves, in your garage, in your storeroom. Okay, products that can be stored. The products that you can store are only the ones that you can touch, so tangible products, and they can be stored somewhere. Okay, very little customers involvement in production. Okay, now the next thing about manufacturing business is that they have very little customers involvement. Okay, so they do their processes, they do input processes and outputs, but there is very less customer involvement in there. Okay, the customer is only involved when the product is actually on the shelves for selling. Okay, so that's when customers go and buy that product, but they don't really have any involvement in how the product is being produced, what they would like in the product. Okay, so that's very less customer involvement. Output is consumed after production. Okay, so very easily when there's a product on the shelf, when you buy it, you're going to consume it. So output is going to be consumed after production. Other examples of this could be like tables, chairs, furniture, anything. Manufacturing business, anything that is being manufactured is a manufacturing business. Okay, now on the other hand, if I look at the service business, it transfers inputs into intangible outputs. Okay, intangible outputs means something that you can't touch. Okay, for example, if you're going to attend a training, okay, you're getting the skills and knowledge, but you're not actually touching what is being delivered. So that is an intangible output. Okay, services cannot be stored. Okay, there's no way to store these services. You actually grab the concept, learn it, and you learn new skills and enhance your knowledge. Okay, and you will need to be present where this service is being delivered. So service business is where the customer needs to be present. Okay, for example, a hair salon. Okay, you can only get that service if you're physically present in the hair salon. Okay, now again, in service business there is high level of involvement from customers when service is being delivered. Okay, now for example, if you're going to again hair salon, you actually tell the person what kind of hairstyle do you want. Okay, so that is high level of involvement from customers. You have to be involved in order for that service to be delivered. Okay, now output is consumed during provision. So when you're actually getting the service, you're actually consuming the output as well. That makes sense? So in manufacturing business, output is consumed after production, but in this one, output is consumed during the process it is taking place, during provision. Okay, when they're cutting your hair, that's when you're actually consuming the product. Okay, the service. Now these are the similarities between manufacturing versus service. So that was on the previous page, there were differences, but these are the similarities. Both the businesses involve the overseeing of an operations system. Okay, again, operation system, inputs, outputs and processes. Okay, so both use an operation system comprising three elements: inputs, processes and outputs. Okay, even if it's a service business, there have to be some inputs. There has to be a process and there has to be an output. Okay, even in a manufacturing business, there has to be some raw materials for input. Then there's different processes. Okay, and then you get a final product. Okay, now both produce an output which is sold for money. Even for service, when you go and ask for a service, you pay money for that. When you're going and buying some product, you pay money for that. So that is your manufacturing versus. So these are the similarities between manufacturing and service business. Okay. Now this is question time. So you have to answer these two questions in your notebook. So the first question is, explain one difference between service and manufacturing for each of the key elements of the operations system. Okay. So you can take any two key elements. Processes, outputs, inputs. So it is up to you what you want to explain. Now second question is, compare a service business and a manufacturing business using examples. Now this is a 6-mark question. So you have to give me, when you're comparing the businesses, you have to give me the similarities and differences. So now this is a 6-mark question, so you have to give me 3 similarities and 3 differences. Okay, have fun. Bye bye.